Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let us learn one more concept. If you are a developer, then you need to configure, that means you need to configure most of the things directly by using developer tools. So in general, you can configure by using either CLI or else Cloud Shell. By using some programmatic commands, you can configure. So what is the advantage if you configure by using those commands? Instead of manually creating each and every service component individually. If you use commands, then you can able to specify only required details and other details will be taken default details will be taken for other values. Now the first step that you need to do. So in real time, what you do is you create your own servers, and on top of your servers you will connect to those servers, and by using that servers you can able to execute your commands. Basically, if you want to execute your commands directly from your CLI, then you can do it in this way. So in order to execute the commands, first you need to install AWS. First, we need to install AWS on our operating system. So based on our operating system, first we need to install AWS. So for that, we have already documentation available. You just need to search for AWS, install AWS, install or update the latest version of AWS CLI. So that you can search. Then you have three options. That is, the first one is for Linux operating system, how to do the process that is available here. Just you can copy paste the command so that it will automatically update or install. If it is first time, then it will install that particular AWS in your system. If your system is a Mac OS operating system, then you can choose this. You can follow these commands and paste these commands on your command line interface or terminal. Then if your system is Windows system, then you choose these commands in order to install or update the latest version of AWS. So this is the first thing that you need to do in order to operate AWS commands from your CLI or command line or terminal. Now I have created one server, one EC2 server for you. For this lab, I have already created one EC2 server to show you how to provide these configurations. Already AWS is by default available in this. You can see AWS. So it was providing me some parameters like that, some commands it was suggesting me. That means AWS is already there. Even you can verify whether AWS is installed successfully or not by using version command. You can see my AWS CLI version is 2.15.30. So that is my version, and on top of this Python, on top of this Linux instance that is running. Currently, I have created a server with Linux EC2 instance, so that's why it is showing like this. So for my Linux EC2 instance, since I have created directly in AWS from AWS, since this is one of the EC2 instance, already AWS is installed. That is, AWS CLI toolkit is already installed in it. I don't need to manually install it again. So since this is already available to me, now what I'm expecting is I'm expecting to connect with services and perform some queries on that services. Or in order to perform any queries on top of your services, on top of your AWS services, first you need to provide your configuration details. So let's say I haven't provided any credentials. Now I'm expecting to connect to S3 and list what are the buckets in it. So for that, AWS space S3. S3 is the service name. Now I'm connecting with the AWS cloud to this service. And what I'm expecting is I'm expecting to list what are the buckets which are present in S3. So I just provided this path. So what are the buckets which are present under this path, those all will be printed. So now let's see. You can see we got one error. What is that? Unable to locate credentials. Unable to locate credentials. First, we need to configure our credentials. First, we need to configure our credentials in order to use any service programmatically or perform any tasks programmatically in your AWS account. If you are expecting to perform any programmatic actions on your AWS account, then first you need to provide configurations. That is, configurations are nothing but you need to configure AWS credentials that you need to configure. So now in this video, I'll tell you how to configure your AWS credentials directly in your system. So for that, first you need to create a folder. So you can list and see where you are. So what is the present working directory? So you are currently in this directory. Now what I'm expecting is, I'm expecting to create one folder here. So for that, mkdir, which will create me one folder. So inside home, I'm creating .aws folder. So this is the folder that I'm creating. Now you can see by using ls-la. So by using this command, you can able to see whether the hidden, this dot represents hidden files. You can see that folder is visible here, right? Yeah. You can see the files are colored like white, whereas folders colored like this. Now what I'm expecting is, I'm expecting to move into that AWS folder that I've created. Inside that, I would like to provide my credentials so that I've changed the directory to that AWS. Now what I'm expecting is, I want to create a file. In that file, I want to provide my credentials. For that file also, I want to put the name as credentials. So in order to create a file, I'm using touch command. So what is the file name that you want to create? That file name you need to provide. Since I am expecting to create a file with credentials name, I'm just entering that so that this file will be created. You can even list all the files and see that. You can even see what are the files in expand mode. So here you can see one dot is there, two dots is there, and you also have, so this dot represents a current folder. These two dots represents moving back to one bit back, that is a previous folder, one bit back to current directory. You can see present working directory. So currently we are at this folder, right? So this folder, this .aws folder represented by using a dot. And whereas if you want to move back, to this folder, then you can use these two commands, this double dot. And this credentials is nothing but the file that you just created. Now what I'm expecting is, I want to provide my credentials inside this credentials file. So before that, I would like to clear the screen. So for that, yeah, you can write clear command to clear the screen. You can see your screen is cleared. Now I'm again listing what are the files present. You can see credentials is the file which is present. Now what I'm expecting, sir? I'm expecting to provide, or I'm expecting to create my details inside this credential. So for that, we have few editors are there. You can use cat command to display the details in it, or else you can use the cat command in order to create the data, in order to put some data under this any file. And you also have Vim editor is there, and you also have nano editor is also there in order to edit some files and put some data in it. Now currently I'm expecting to use Vim editor to put some details in my credentials. So I'm just using Vim command. So by using that Vim command, what file I'm expecting to open? I'm expecting to open credentials. So that's why I provided that file name. I just clicked on enter. You can see it is open like this. Now what I'm expecting is, now I'm expecting to mention the details as default credentials. So for that, first you need to type the details. To insert some details here, just you click on I. So you just click on I so that it can provide you facility to insert the details here. Now I'm just expecting to quit from here. So I'm just clicking on Control I. To quit, just click on Control I. Just click on Control O so that it will show you some insert like this within brackets. Then you just click on colon WQ. What this WQ indicates, sir? So this WQ indicates write and quit. So if not write return, then it will write and quit. Then this indicates that I'm just clicking on enter. So now you came back to your home again. Now I'm just since I have not provided any details, now I'm expecting to provide the details. For that, I'm just clicking on Vim. So first I'd like to clear this. Then I'm expecting to edit the file and I'm expecting to put some data, that is credentials, inside my credentials file. So that's why I'm writing like this, Vim credentials. So it will open you the credentials file. You can see this credentials file is opened. Now, since I'm expecting to put some data, first we need to enter into insert mode. So how do we enter into insert mode, sir? So just click on Control O. You just click on Control O. Then you got like this. Mark has invalid line number. So now you just click on I so that you entered into insert mode. You can see you just entered into the insert mode. Now you can write your details like default. Since I am providing the credentials, I am expecting to put the credentials as default credentials. I provided like default. Then you need to provide the region. So since I'm expecting to put my data or check the data inside my US East 2 region, so that I provided that region. Then you need to provide two details, that is AWS access key ID and second one is AWS secret key, secret access key. So these two you need to provide. So these are the details that you need to provide. I'll provide you those two as well. Now we want this access key ID and this secret key ID, right? Yes. So in order to do that, these will provided by your AWS account administrator, where that AWS admin, that your AWS account managing admin can have permission to access this IAM service in AWS. So by using that only, he created your student account as a user and he provided some access permissions to you by attaching to any groups or by attaching some policies to you. Now what we are expecting, we want some access key and secret key to log into our AWS account programmatically and manage our services, right? Yes. So in order to get your access keys and secret keys, here you can see an option is there, that is access key, create access key option is there. You can able to create your access key by just clicking here and by mentioning the details. Now you can see I'm just clicking on create access key. So where it was under your IAM users. So whatever the user, to which user you want to provide, to which IAM user you want to provide, let's say you are an admin, then you need to provide that credentials, right? Yes. So you can provide from here, that is the click on create access key. Here you need to provide the use case. Since currently I'm expecting programmatic access, I can provide for CLI. So that's why I just clicked here. you can have further more options. You can able to select them based on your use case. Now you need to confirm here, then only you can able to move to next. Otherwise it won't move to next. It will ask you for this confirmation. You can even remove and check. So currently I'm moving on next. You can see after removing, it was not moving to next. It was not proceeding. You just need to accept it. Then you need to move to next. If you want to provide any description for this, then you can provide. Currently, I'm not expecting to provide any description. So it's an optional. So that's why I'm just clicking on create. Now you can see we got access key as well as secret key for this particular user. So whatever the user can able to access directly from console, those all services he can able to access by using these keys, these programmatic keys directly from your AWS CLI or else directly from your EC2 instances programmatically connection, or so from programmatically wherever you connect. So in that way he can able to access all the services that he can able to access now. Now I'm just expecting to paste all these details there to provide these credentials in order to access my AWS services there. So I'm just copying my access key. I just copied this. Now I'm just pasting that access key for this access key place. So for access key, I'm just placing that. Control V is not working. Control Shift V you can try. You can see it is working. So you just paste by using Control Shift V. Now I'm again copying this secret access key. You can even see that secret access key. Don't worry, after this lab I'll delete that. So that's why I'm showing you that secret access key. Now I'm just pasted my secret access key as well as my AWS access key ID as well. So I've provided these two details and region details also I've provided. So one important point that I'd like to tell you here is, so while creating your access keys, then only at that moment of time only you can able to see the access key. You can even download those details in the form of CSV file and you can store it somewhere based on your requirement. So currently my requirement one time use is this, that is for showing you this lab. That's why I created this. So currently I'm not downloading and saving these credentials, but for you in real time, it might be required that you need to create and manage these keys whenever you require. So you need to download this and you need to provide these details to whoever the developers they require their user access keys. For them you can able to provide and you can able to provide them the flexibility to work on their environment. Now I'm just clicking on done. So after clicking on done, you can even see here, you do not able to see those password, that is a secret key. You can see secret key is not visible, only access key is visible. Now I'm just moving back. So here we pasted the details, that is the default details like that we specified region, access key and secret key. Now I'm just expecting to save this inside my credentials folder, inside my credentials file. So for that, you just click on Control I. You just click on Control O so that it enters into this type of insert mode. Now you just click on colon so that it will enter here. Now I am just clicking on colon, and in order to write this data in the file, so I typed W to write the data, and after writing I need to quit. That means I want to move out of this file, that is quitting out of the file. So that's why I provided this, and I'm providing this negation symbol as well. Now I'm just clicking on enter. You can see we came back. Now I'm expecting to see the data which is present in my file, that is credentials file. We can use cat command. So by using this cat command, we can able to see the data which is present in any files. So now I'm expecting to see the data which is present under my credentials file. So I'm using this cat command. Now again, I want to verify whether these credentials, by using these credentials, can I able to accept AWS services or not. So to test that, I'm expecting to list whatever the bucket names which are present in S3. So for that, previously only I've shown you the command. Now also I'll show you AWS S3 space ls for list, and in S3 bucket. So in S3, what are my buckets I have? You can see one bucket is listed. So that bucket related data also available here, right? Yes. So now by using this command, since I got the result, I can able to say, I can able to clearly log into, that is, I can able to access the services, AWS service directly by using this command line. So for developers, this might be very helpful to you to configure your details and in order to access your services. If you configure in this way as a file inside your Linux EC2 instance or directly inside your laptop, then it is helpful to you to use those credentials uh, every time. So whenever you execute this command, each and every time these credentials will be referred. You don't need to provide each and every time these access keys and secret key every time. So now let's see how many configuration profiles do I have. So in order to do that, you have an option AWS configure space list profiles. So by using this command, you can able to see how many profiles you have. So currently, since I am having only default, only one profile, that is default profile. So I got only one profile. If you want, you can able to add many more profiles inside your credentials folder, which is present under AWS, that is a .aws directory. So in this way, you can able to configure your AWS credentials inside your .aws folder inside credentials file, and you can able to use them every time while using AWS services. You can see, yes, we have used these credentials. We don't need to pass again and again these credentials to use the services, AWS services. Here we tested by using list command. We listed whatever the buckets which are present inside my S3 by using this command AWS S3 ls, and these are our parameters. You can see if you observe this, AWS is the toolkit that we are using, cloud toolkit that we are using, and then we are providing the service name. Then we are providing, so whatever the operation that we want to list, then so that's why we provided this ls command. Then in which location we are listing, that also we provided, right? Yes. So in this way you can able to use, naturally any command will be in this format only. First AWS, then what is the service name, then what operation that you want, then what are the parameters that you want to provide, those you can able to provide here. So in this way you can able to configure your details, that is credentials, in one credentials file and save it under .aws folder, so that after that you can able to use AWS related service and perform operations that your account can able to perform directly from CLI commands. So I hope you understood this video and you got some knowledge and or knowledge recap from this video. If you feel this video is useful, then please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Thanks for watching again. See you back in the next video. Until then, bye bye guys.